Good morning. It's Friday, March 29th. Christians consider it Good Friday. It's the day that Jesus was crucified on the cross. And many go to church, and some just worship in their own way. Now, today I want to talk about temptation. And in James, the Epistle of James, chapter 1, it starts with verse 13. Let no one say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God. For God cannot tempt by evil, nor does he himself tempt anyone. That's the first point. We are never tempted by God. So where does these temptations come from? In 14 it says, each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own desires and enticed. And when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. Now, that means temptation is something on the inside of us. Now, the devil or Satan, he knows which buttons to push because he knows what's inside us too. But the temptation comes from something we're looking for ourselves. If it's not a woman that tempts a man, it is the man's desires that he gives into. It's not money that you're tempted to steal. It is the inside, the lack and the need and the want for something. It comes from inside us, and we allow desire to become conceived within us. So when you are tempted, you actually, in the beginning, you actually have a choice, and you can say, no, I'm not giving into that, look away, walk away, whatever. Even those are tempted by food or any material things or something, or tempted to not do what you're supposed to. It comes from inside us. And then the devil just kind of helps it along by presenting a situation which looks easy enough, but we just walk right into it. But if we don't have those, if we don't give into those desires inside us, then we can deal with this, and we're not even brought to the temptation where eventually it becomes addiction or obsession or something like that. But that has to start with desire. When desire is conceived, when we actually allow desire to come within us, and some loss or some hole in us that we think has to be filled with something. Now, of course, he says in 16, do not be deceived, my brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning, which means he's not going to change. God is going to give us what we need, but we have to believe that in faith. And that's the hard part for some. And that's where, instead of faith, we allow desire to come in. We need something, and instead of trusting God, praying to God, asking him, even begging him sometimes, instead we allow our desires to become sin. And sin becomes death, whether it is addiction, alcohol, obesity, stealing. It becomes much more than that. And then, we've really gotten ourselves into something. Now, remember, Jesus was put to death, not by anything he did, but that was the way it was, and they crucified him. But he was resurrected, and he came back to life. And he brings us back to life, even if we have been in the death of all those things. We can still have new life. No matter what your age, no matter what your abilities, no matter what you've been through, Jesus can bring you new life. And that's what it's all about today, being crucified and dying and being buried and then being brought to life. And he is now sitting next to the his Father in heaven, and he is now able to help us through the Holy Spirit. So that's a lot to think about for you new people. But I just want you to know, temptation, don't go blaming anybody else who tempted you or whatever. Temptation comes within us. And that's where we need to replace that with faith that God will give us what we need in due season. Have a great day, a great weekend, and God bless you.